Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Amy, coming at you from quarantine. And today we are going to talk about setting some goals. Before we get started with that, I have a quote for us. Our quote today: people with goals succeed because they know where they're going. Important message. Thank you, Earl Nightingale. Before we start talking a little bit about goals, I want you guys to do an activity with me. We're going to do a little thought game here. I want you to sit back and think about your dream car. What does it look like? What color is it? What make? What model? What year is it? Does it have an amazing sound system? Sit back and think about that for a second. What is our dream car? Now imagine that you're sitting behind the wheel of your dream car. You get to have your dream car, and it's perfect. Everything is exactly what you wanted. But there's a catch. The catch is you can never have another car ever in your life. This car has to last you your entire life. Are we going to be taking good care of our car? I know I would. I wouldn't be letting anybody mess with my car. I'd be keeping it clean. I'd be making sure I put in the good gas. I'd be getting an oil change all the time. And I wouldn't be letting just anybody drive it. I'd be driving it. Nobody else would get to drive my car. I don't know if you guys are the same, but that's how I would be with it. If it has to last me my whole life, I'd be taking great care of it. So now I want you guys to think about yourselves. Do you like to stay up late? I like to stay up late. Do you like to eat a lot of junk food? I'm a big fan of cookies myself. Do you maybe sometimes forget to brush your teeth? Do you maybe follow the crowd even when you know you shouldn't do that? Do you like to take risks, take dares from people? When we talked about our dream car, when we think about that, and we're talking about how we're going to take good care of it, and we're not going to let anybody mess with it, we're not going to get any scratches or dings on it, we're kind of talking about something else. We're talking about our own bodies. So when we eat a lot of junk food, we're putting low quality fuel into our car, our bodies. If we are not brushing our teeth, we're not taking care of our bodies. If we aren't getting enough sleep, that's another way we're not taking care of our bodies. And then if we're following the crowd or taking risks and dares, we're allowing other people to drive our car, which is our bodies. And our bodies have to last us our entire life. They're the most important vehicle that we're ever going to have, right? It might not be a real car, but we're stuck with our bodies for our whole lives. And so when we take risks, when we do things that are unhealthy for ourselves, we can hurt our bodies in long term. So our bodies have to last a lifetime. Regular exercise, getting good nutrition, and then making good decisions are really important for helping us maintain our bodies over time. Let's look in our workbooks at page 2. We're going to look at the section called My Road Ahead. And we're going to talk about setting a goal. So a goal is something that we want to accomplish. It can be something big or it can be something little. And today we're going to be setting sort of a short-term goal, a little goal, something that we can reach within a month. There are a lot of steps we have to follow to reach a goal. And so we're going to go over those steps together. And then we're going to do a little activity and make sure we understand what we're doing. And then at the end, we're going to set our own goal. So the first step to setting a goal is to name it. We need to put it out in the world. We need to say it out loud, write it down, let people know what we're doing. If we don't tell people what our goals are, they can't help us reach them. And then also, if we don't say it out loud, we might be less likely to go for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the criteria for when we name our goal. There are 4 criteria. A goal needs to be personal, possible, positive, and specific. So when we say a goal needs to be personal, it needs to be a goal for you. It doesn't need to be something your friends want you to do or your parents want you to do. It needs to be what you want to do. Because if it's what somebody else wants you to do, you might not have that much interest in doing it. If I were to say, your goal is you're going to write down that you're going to learn German. What if you don't want to learn German? You're not going to put any effort into that. Next, it needs to be possible. It needs to be something that you can accomplish within the timeline that you're setting for yourself and that you have the resources to accomplish. So if I were to go even further and say, not only are you going to learn German, you're going to learn German by the end of the week. That would not be possible unless you already happen to know a lot of German. Then it needs to be positive. We need to state it in a positive way. Say, I will do something instead of I won't do something. And then it also needs to be specific. If you were to say, I'm going to get better grades, that's really great. But what does better grades mean? We need to be specific about what better grades means. Or if you say, I'm going to get healthy, cool. What does it mean to be healthy? So those are the 4 things that a goal needs to have in order to be something that we can reach and something that's going to be a good, positive goal. So let's do a little activity real quick. We're going to see some scenarios, and we're going to determine what goals, or what is missing from these goals. What criteria is missing from these goals. So here we have Emma's goal is to try out for the volleyball team because her best friend Dahlia wants her to. Which of our 4 criterion is missing in this goal? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not personal. Emma's doing this because Dahlia wants her to, not because she wants to. Next, we have Will. Will wants to beat his recent record of 50 push-ups without taking a break. He set a goal to do 150 push-ups without taking a break by this weekend. What do you think? What criterion is missing from this goal? That's right, it's not possible. Now, if we wanted to help Will do something that is possible, we might edit his goal a little bit to say, maybe he could reduce the number of push-ups that he's going to do by this weekend, or extend his deadline, give himself some more time. Because that's a great goal to be able to do 150 push-ups, but it might take him longer than just 7 days, depending on when he sets this goal. Next, Theo has a C in history. His goal is to get a better grade. What do we think? It's not specific. What does better grade mean to Theo? He has a C, so maybe we could help him out, get his goal to be a little bit more specific by saying that maybe he's going to raise his grade to a B by the end of the 6 weeks. So that's a more specific goal. And then we have Margie. Margie's goal is to not eat junk food every night for the next month. That's a really specific goal. It seems personal and possible, and it's also very specific, but it's not stated in a positive way. The way we can make this more positive, possibly, is to say, Margie could say, I will eat 3 servings of vegetables every day for the next month. It still cuts out that junk food, but it makes it more, what is she going to do instead of what is she not going to do? So there's some examples on how to make sure our goals are personal, possible, positive, and specific. Next, name it is the first step, and we've gone over that. The next step is to picture it. Picture yourself reaching your goal. What is it going to look like? Where are you going to be? What all do you need in order to reach your goal? Making sure that we have a picture in our minds can help us move forward, be motivated to reach that goal. Next, we need to say, I can. We need to have positive self-talk and have a positive attitude about it. If we're like, oh, I'm gonna raise my grade from a C to a B in this specific class, and you're like, but it's really hard. I don't know if I can do that. That's so much work. If we have a negative attitude about it, we're probably not going to reach our goal. We need to be positive and say, I can do this. I'm smart enough to do this. I'm capable. I have all of the ability to reach this goal. Then step 4, think about how to do it. We need to come up with a plan. We need to think of some action steps. What do we have to do specifically to reach our goal? Then we have to go for it. Having a plan is great, but then if you just sit on your couch and don't do anything, you're never going to reach your goal. We have to get out there and go for it. And then lastly, the last step is when we reach our goal, when we have achieved it, we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate our successes, because when we celebrate our successes, we remind ourselves of why it feels so good to reach our goals, and we're going to keep going for our goals. So now that we've talked about the steps of how to reach our goals, we're going to practice ourselves. Now it's our turn to set our own goals that we're going to reach in like the next month. We're going to do a short-term goal. So not something like, I'm going to be a doctor. That's great, but that's going to take you a long time. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're a genius. Let's turn to page 3 to the My Own Goals section. And we are going to create a short-term goal. I have also put my goal on here, and I will share that with you. The first step is to name our goal. It already says, I will. So what are we going to do? I will practice boxing 3 days a week for 1 hour per day. That's what I have put as my goal. I used to box a lot, and then I stopped boxing because we're in quarantine. And it's not an excuse anymore for me. I'm going to go back to it, guys. So what are you guys going to do? What is your goal? Is it an academic goal? Is it a personal goal? Is it a social goal? Maybe it's an economic goal of some sort. What is our goal going to be? All right, next step is we're going to picture ourselves reaching our goal. What is it going to look like? To me, it's going to look like me being very tired 3 days a week minimum. I'm hoping to do more than 3 days, but 3 days a week minimum. And then we have to say, I can. We have to have a positive attitude about it. I know I can do this because I've done it before. I just have to get back into the swing of things. I have to keep practicing, get better at boxing. Next, we have to have a to-do list. Let's think of 4 action steps, at least 4. I have put 5 on mine, but 4 action steps that we need to do to reach our goal. So mine, as an example, the first thing I have to do is get a heavy bag. I don't have a heavy bag. So a heavy bag is the punching bag that people use when they box. I don't have that. And I also want a reflex bag. So I have to get those 2 things. And then for my goal, I'm going to do 3 rounds of jump rope. In boxing, a round is 3 minutes long. So that's 9 minutes of jumping rope. 3 rounds on the heavy bag and the reflex bag. 3 rounds of shadow boxing to work on my form and my footwork. And then 50 push-ups and 100 crunches minimum 3 days a week. I have made my list. This is what I have to do in order to reach my goal. And I have to do that 3 times a week. And I can't give up. So what do you guys need to do to reach your goal? What are some steps you have to take? If your goal is academic, maybe you need to, have a certain amount of time you're going to study or certain things you're going to study. If your goal is social, perhaps, having a minimum number of people you're going to talk to, or maybe giving compliments to people. If your goal is economic, how much money are you going to save? What kind of chores are you going to do to get money? Things like that. So I'll give you all a minute to come up with your to-do list. And next we need to talk about our resources. Who can help us? Who can help us reach our goal? For mine, I put my roommate, my mom, and my kids. Now, they can't work out for me, but they can motivate me and remind me of why I want to do this, right? And so for me, it's less about who can help me physically do my goal, but maybe for you, you'll have a teacher who can help you study, or friends, or your parents. Maybe if your goal is more of a social goal, you'll have your friends to help you, various other people in your life. There's lots of people that can help us in different ways that they can help us. So who can help you? Who are your resources? All right, guys, too long, didn't read. Setting goals will help you achieve what you want in life by making a plan. If we make a plan and we follow it and reach our goals, we're going to be more motivated to keep doing that in the future. And then remember that our goals need to be personal, possible, positive, and specific. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to see y'all next week, and we're going to talk about decision making.